We going? Hey, it's Joshua Suzanne here at Rags-A-GoGo in my store, vintage clothing, and this man came walking in just now, like maybe 30 seconds ago, and I said to him, I really like your tie. And he said, thank you, and he reached into his wallet and he pulled out this card, and I'm going to put the card up to the camera just so you can see what he gave me. And first of all, what is your name?
I'm Ron Spark.
Ron Spark. And Ron, you told me that you wrote a book on collectible ties from the 1940s and stuff. What inspired you to do that?
Well, I was an art history major and very interested in Americana, and wound up in the United States Army wearing a thin black tie and remembered some great ties from the 40s. Decided to research it, do a serious art history subject, and found there was nothing written on it.
Really? No. And ties are so collectible. I've been in this business 21 and a half years.
Yeah.
And for 21 and a half years, I've had people walk into my store and other stores that I've managed specifically looking for special ties.
Right. So there was a great American tie invented after World War II, and that because of the fashion vacuum in Europe, men's ties, women's hats, shoes are very highly creative, one-of-a-kind, highly individualistic, very typically America. And so I wrote a book on the 1944 to 52 period on men's neckties. And there were some great things. Men used to exchange ties on the street. There were ties. You send your 10 ugliest ties to a club and they would send 10 ties back. And so I wrote all about that. So there was a lot of fun, and nobody wanted to see a tie that somebody else had.
Now we had, I know about hand-painted ties. Were those, when were the hand-painted ties being
Well,
done?
the typical gift that you might give was a tie blank, and you gave it to an artist, and you say, my boyfriend Charlie is a bowler, and we should put a bowling ball on the tie, and the artist would paint a bowling ball and say Charlie.
Oh, that's so cool.
So that was typical of after World War II.
Okay, and also another thing, I used to, by the way, I used to sell cars back in the 80s, you guys, and one of the guys I was working with always wore his special tie, and used to sell a lot of cars, especially to women with this tie on it. What it was a tie, and it had a naked girl on the inside. Now tell me a little bit about those ties. What were those?
Those ties were called tip-ins, and they didn't appear until about 1952 to 1956. And they were slim, they were boring in color and crazy, but then you could flip it up and there was a nudie pin-up on the inside.
Right on,
and it was typically worn by people that had to wear a tie to some occasion, and it was their way of rebelling against it.
What is the most rare, most collectible tie out there? What's the tie that, like, for a major collector, they just have to have, or they have to be looking for?
I think Dolly ties and Schiaparelli ties of my period are still the most highly collectible, because Dolly probably only created about 55 designs, and they come in different colors and different features, so they're highly collectable.
Guys, there's a lot of fun things vintage-wise to collect. Ties are amazing. Please check out this guy's book. Where can we find out more about you?
Oh, well, there's a tie spot. My book's called Fir-To-Be-Tied. You can just go there, and there's also an ugly tie, knot tie. You can read about me in my book.
Cool. Excellent. All right, guys. See you online.